It all started with a single photo, blurry, grainy, but powerful enough to send millions of fans into panic. Can Yaman, once the picture of strength, confidence, and unstoppable energy, was seen stepping out of a clinic in Rome, his face pale, his expression distant. For someone known for his iron discipline, athletic lifestyle, and unstoppable work ethic, that image was a shockwave across social media. Within hours, hashtags like #PrayForCanYaman and #NoDoctorCanSaveHimNow began trending worldwide. The photo wasn't posted by a paparazzo, it came from a fan who didn't even realize what she had captured. She just wanted a quick picture when she saw Can leaving a building she assumed was a production office. Only later did people identify the sign above the door, Clínica San Felice, Diagnostica e Salute. Suddenly, the internet erupted. Why is he there? Is he sick? What happened to him? Nobody had answers. A few days later, the silence from Can's usually active Instagram account only fueled the fire. Normally, he would post workout routines, travel clips, or playful behind-the-scenes stories. But this time, nothing. Just silence. Fans began writing under his last post, "Please tell us you're okay. Don't disappear like this, Can. No doctor can help you if you keep everything inside." It wasn't just worry, it was fear. His followers had seen how fame had changed him. How pressure, constant exposure, and personal heartbreak had slowly chipped away at the man who once seemed unbreakable. People recalled interviews where he had hinted at exhaustion, saying things like, "Sometimes I wake up and feel like the world expects too much from me." Then came another photo, this time from the airport. Can was wearing black sunglasses and a hoodie pulled low. But what shocked fans was the way he moved, slow, hesitant, almost as if each step cost him effort. Some said he looked thinner. Others swore they saw a faint tremor in his hand as he reached for his luggage. Speculations exploded. Some blamed stress. Others believed it was burnout or a hidden illness. But the most chilling comment came from a close friend of his in Italy who told a journalist anonymously, "He's been pushing himself too hard. He doesn't rest, he doesn't eat properly. He wants to appear strong, but even his body has limits." Within days, YouTube channels, tabloids, and fan pages across Europe were repeating the same line, "No doctor can save him now." A phrase that sounded dramatic, but to his worried fans, felt like the painful truth. What no one knew was that behind that phrase, there was a much darker story waiting to surface. As days passed, the silence around Can Yaman's condition became unbearable for his fans. The more the official sources stayed quiet, the louder the rumors grew. Italian tabloids started publishing headlines that mixed fear with fascination. Can Yaman's mysterious illness, a cry for help hidden behind his smile, and the one that froze everyone, "No doctor can save him anymore." It wasn't just a phrase anymore, it became a movement of concern, sorrow, and collective anxiety. Thousands of fans across Turkey, Italy, and Spain started lighting candles, sharing old clips of his happiest moments. Behind-the-scenes laughter with Demet Özdemir, his intense training for Sandokan, the red carpets, the interviews where his eyes sparkled with confidence. Everyone seemed to ask the same question, what happened to the man who once inspired millions with his energy and determination? Meanwhile, journalists tried to dig deeper. One of them, a Rome-based entertainment reporter named Silvia Ferrara, claimed to have spoken to someone inside the clinic. Her words spread like wildfire. Can wasn't there for a simple checkup. It was a consultation, something serious, something he didn't want the public to know. Those words hit fans like a storm. On social media, theories multiplied. Some believed he had collapsed during a workout, others said he had been hiding a chronic illness for years. One post even claimed he had undergone secret surgery. None of it was confirmed, yet the silence made everything feel possible. At the same time, those closest to Can seemed to disappear too. His manager refused to comment. His usual circle of friends avoided posting anything about him. The only hint came from an old friend who posted a cryptic Instagram story, "Sometimes strength means admitting you can't fight alone anymore." That single sentence ignited more panic than 1,000 articles could. Fans began connecting dots. comparing old photos to recent ones, analyzing his voice in interviews, even noticing subtle changes in his expression. They said his smile didn't reach his eyes anymore, that his laughter felt rehearsed. Then, one evening, a blurry video surfaced from a small cafe in Rome. Can was sitting alone, wearing a dark coat and hat, staring out the window as rain poured down. He looked lost. Not like a celebrity hiding from fame, but like a man trapped inside his own thoughts. The caption read, "He was here for over an hour. He didn't touch his coffee." The clip went viral within minutes. Underneath it, fans wrote messages of love and desperation. "Please come back to us, Can. We don't care about the fame, we just want you healthy. No doctor can help if the pain is in the heart." Little did they know, that message was closer to the truth than anyone imagined. Because what Can was fighting wasn't a sickness of the body, but something much deeper, something that no medical treatment could cure. Inside his Rome apartment, the world-famous actor everyone adored had turned into a shadow of himself. The walls were lined with awards, magazine covers, and scripts from international projects, yet none of them seemed to matter anymore. Can Yaman sat in silence most nights, the city lights flickering outside his window, his phone buzzing endlessly with missed calls from producers, journalists, and worried friends. He didn't answer. Not because he didn't care, but because he simply didn't know what to say anymore. For months, he had been living in overdrive. Between filming, brand deals, fan events, and relentless travel, his life had become a blur of obligations. Every smile was a performance, every appearance a mask. The man who once inspired millions with his confidence now stared at his reflection, barely recognizing the face looking back. "I used to feel alive," he whispered one night, his voice breaking. "Now, I just exist." Those close to him had noticed the change long before the world did. His personal trainer, who had worked with him for years, revealed privately that Can had started skipping workouts, something unimaginable for him. He used to train even when he was sick, the trainer said. But lately, he just sat there, staring into space. It's like his fire went out. The real problem wasn't physical, it was emotional. Can had always been open about his struggles with fame, but lately, the pressure had turned into something darker. He felt trapped, by expectations, by constant judgment, by the endless scrutiny over his private life. Every headline about his relationships, every rumor about his health, every photo analyzed by millions. It all added weight to a heart that was already breaking. Friends said he had withdrawn completely after a particular phone call. No one knew who it was from, but after that night, everything changed. He stopped answering texts, canceled meetings, and retreated from the world. Some said it was related to someone from his past, someone who had once known him before the fame, before the walls went up. In that quiet isolation, Can started writing again. Not scripts or interviews, but long, personal letters, ones he never intended to send. One of them, found later by a close friend, contained just a single haunting line: "Doctors can heal the body, but who heals the soul when it no longer believes in tomorrow?" It was that letter that made his friend break down and call for help. But when the doctor arrived, Can refused to open the door. "I'm fine," he said softly through the intercom. "Please, just leave me be." And that's when his friend whispered those now famous words to a journalist: "No doctor can help him anymore." The world took it literally, but in truth, it was never about illness. It was about a man slowly drowning in the silence of his own heart. When the world least expected it, a single sound broke the silence, a short video uploaded to Can Yaman's Instagram story. No captions. No filters. Just the soft hum of the city and his voice, low and calm, saying, "Don't believe everything you hear. I'm still here." It lasted only 5 seconds, but those 5 seconds were enough to bring millions to tears. Within minutes, "He's back" was trending worldwide. Fans flooded his page with messages of love, relief, and confusion. But while his return brought hope, it also raised more questions. His voice sounded different, deeper, slower, almost fragile. And though he tried to smile, there was something in his eyes that didn't lie: pain. The next day, Italian media followed him again. this time, Can wasn't hiding. He walked openly through the streets of Rome, greeting fans, taking photos. But he looked changed. The man who once radiated confidence now moved with quiet restraint, as if every step was a reminder of something heavy he still carried. Later that week, during a brief encounter with a journalist, Can was asked directly about the rumors concerning his health. He smiled faintly and said, "Sometimes people forget that strength isn't just about muscles or energy. It's also about surviving your own thoughts." That line alone melted the internet. Everyone shared it, surviving your own thoughts. It became a phrase of hope, a message from someone who had walked through the darkest tunnel and was still standing. What fans didn't know was that during those weeks of silence, Can had been under the care of a private therapist and a small team who helped him disconnect from everything. Not to treat an illness, but to help him breathe again, to find balance in a world that never stopped watching. A close friend later revealed, he didn't want doctors. He didn't want medicine. He wanted peace. That's what he was looking for all along. And maybe that's why people said no doctor could help him anymore. Because what he needed wasn't found in hospitals or prescriptions, it was inside him. In one of his final interviews that month, Can spoke more openly than ever before. "I reached a point where I didn't care about fame or success. I just wanted silence. When you lose yourself, it doesn't matter how many people cheer for you. If you can't hear your own heartbeat, you're already gone." The crowd went silent. For the first time, the world didn't see a star, they saw a man. A man who had nearly lost himself but found the courage to return, and as he left the stage that night, the applause wasn't for Can Yaman the actor. It was for the human being who had reminded everyone that healing begins when you finally stop pretending you're fine. Weeks after his quiet return, the storm around Can Yaman began to calm, but the echo of what had happened refused to fade. Every fan, every journalist, every friend seemed to look at him differently now. The man they once admired for his perfection had become something far more real, a symbol of vulnerability, a reminder that even the strongest can break. At his first public event since the rumors, Can walked onto the stage dressed simply, no designer suit, no polished image. Just a black shirt, open at the collar, his hair slightly messy, his eyes calm but deep. The crowd erupted into applause, but Can raised his hand gently, asking for silence. When he finally spoke, his voice was steady but carried a weight that silenced the room. "There was a time," he began, "when I thought I had to be invincible. That I couldn't show fear, or weakness, or sadness, because the world only wants you when you shine. But the truth is, nobody shines all the time." The audience fell completely silent. Many fans in the front rows were crying already. Can continued, "When I disappeared, it wasn't because I was sick. It was because I was lost. The pressure, the loneliness, the constant noise. I forgot what peace felt like. And when you forget that, no doctor can help you anymore. Because what's broken isn't your body. It's your spirit." His words hit like a wave, not just to fans, but to everyone who had ever felt crushed by expectations. Cameras flashed, but for once, they weren't chasing gossip. They were capturing something rare, a man telling the truth without fear. He paused, took a breath, and smiled faintly. "But I want you to know, I found my way back. Because of you. Because even when I couldn't see myself anymore, your love reminded me that I still mattered." The audience stood up, applauding through tears. It wasn't the roar of a crowd, it was the sound of shared relief, of thousands of hearts whispering you're not alone. That night, fans flooded social media with messages that carried a new kind of energy. It wasn't panic anymore, it was pride. Hashtags like hashtag you saved yourself Can and hashtag no doctor can help but love Can trended across countries. They didn't want him to be the perfect hero anymore, they just wanted him to be human. Later that evening, as Can left the venue, someone shouted, "We love you, Can." He turned around, smiled, and replied softly, "Then that means I'll be fine." It was a moment that felt like closure, not just to a rumor, but to a chapter of pain that had nearly consumed him. In the following months, Can began to share glimpses of his life again, early morning walks, handwritten notes, quiet sunsets. The sparkle in his eyes slowly returned, not because he was healed overnight, but because he had finally stopped running from himself. The phrase that once terrified the world, "No doctor can save him now," had changed its meaning forever. It no longer sounded like a tragedy. It became a truth about healing, that sometimes, the greatest cure isn't found in medicine, but in finally listening to your heart. And as the world watched Can Yaman smile again, one thing was certain. This time, it was real.